Hello and welcome to the Virtual Hub. My name is Peter Kestenholz and I work for the Microsoft partner Projektum. Today I'm going to talk about Power Apps and the Power Platform and how that can be used to connect your strategies to your work or your projects. So first off, when it comes to designing a solution that can connect strategies to work, it's all about figuring out how the ideal design should look like. And when it comes to design, there are certain ways, according to trends in the market and past experience, that I wanted to quickly show you before I go live in terms of showing the actual solution. So the first thing I want to explain a little bit about is that we have work going on in all companies. Right now, we're looking at teams that are working together remotely because of COVID-19. And when a team works together, they typically work on work. So the essence of work, not just the collaboration, not just the documents, but also the production of progress within a project or any other kind of initiative. So this is already going on for many of you in Microsoft Teams, maybe in other tools, using Planner to manage your tasks and so forth. On top of all of this, work and teams are typically portfolios. We have specific portfolios for IT investments or IT applications, what we call enterprise program portfolio management. This would be your business projects. Those who do DevOps or all-up software development projects are typically grouped by products more than projects. And then we have others who are looking at M&A processes and what we call post-merger integrations, which is another type of work that needs to be done structured and across several projects, which is why we tend to connect these into portfolios. Now, besides having the teams working down here and the portfolio managers and the business strategy up here, we see lots of different capabilities or features that are needed and requested by almost any role sitting in front of a desk trying to track a business case or a project, or in general just track performance. These capabilities could be strategy, so being able to capture and enter in a strategy and business drivers and so forth, financial forecasting, demand management, portfolio management, issue management, program management, and many, many other things. The good news is that many of these capabilities are essentially the same, regardless of you working in a business project, an IT project, or even acting as a team lead to some extent, managing the sum of work on behalf of others. So this we decided to build a solution around and also anchor it in a framework. We call this the Strategy Execution Management Framework. The other name we have for it is Controlled Agility. And if I zoom in just a little bit, you will notice that we have up here the portfolio management and the strategy management and where we want to monitor what we're doing. We have then connected that to a governance model. So that's your business process. You can have various project models from large to small. So these are the project models that we have right here, which are then connected to different sets of processes that the project manager or the owner of an initiative have to comply with. We then have on the right side resource management, which is a game between project managers and line managers or resource managers. On the left side, we have time sheeting, so tracking actual hours spent. And then we have two ways of defining the plan for the work we're going to do. Plan-driven means we're trying to do the traditional Gantt chart, so planning ahead. Change-driven is where we work with a backlog and sprints. And then we actually embrace change because we constantly reprioritize our work priorities. Then we have collaboration, where team members have to go in and out of both this type of plan and this type of plan. And of course, they are a resource in some resource management puzzle as well. And they have to do time sheeting. So all of this we want them to see and get access to from one central location. That will be Teams. And innovation, the idea about capturing ideas, ranking these against different challenges the business might have. All of this is for all employees and not just for the few. So that's our framework. Now, if you were to translate this into a Power Platform situation, it would look something like this as an example. So zooming in a little bit on that one. So we have Power Platform down here, which with common data service and many, many other features for doing integrations to other systems or exporting data and so forth. This is the centerpiece that connects all the dots, allowing you to do heavy Power BI reporting and analytics, even machine learning on your data. Then on the very top up here, we have our Power App solution we call Power PPM. This is the solution I'm going to show today live, which consists of many components, PCF components, so hard-coded pieces of feature that is highly needed in terms of the capabilities I just walked through. And in between this and the database, people tend to work with tasks and schedules in many different ways. And we don't want to be the police force trying to make sure that everyone uses the same tool. So with this model, we are open for people using either the new project for the web, the project desktop client, which connects to tasks and CDS. So we allow for that as well, even with our own Gantt chart. DevOps, Azure DevOps, Planner, Jira, or perhaps even other tools that you might have in your system already. The reason why we can connect these dots are that we are using Power Platform and the services for integration to make sure that we can, without any code, import and export critical data and store them in the right bucket. Would that be a program, portfolio, or even a project? Then we have Team Planner, which is a tool built also for teams where resource managers can do resource allocation and capacity management, and time sheeting on the left side as well, also available from within Microsoft Teams. As a final note, we have Presented, which is a Power Automate solution that allows you to bring data from CDS or any data source in real time and merge that with a predefined PowerPoint template that includes the ability to render all the charts and all the cool features that you can do inside PowerPoint that you cannot do, for instance, in Word. So if you look at it from a more general perspective, we have Power PPM that I'm going to show today as part of the Power Platform. It's a solution for Power Platform. We have Team Planner, which relies on Microsoft Azure and a Cosmos database. Both can be used within Microsoft Teams and obviously can connect through to Dynamics 365, where Power PPM can do a whole lot for field service and, for instance, project operations. And Microsoft 365, would that be Teams, SharePoint, Groups, essentially, Planner, or whatever we do, we can, of course, again, connect to that. So allow me to just quickly do one more slide here, and then I'm going to go live, because what I'm going to show you today is essentially a little glimpse of how we manage the solutions. So again, how we build it, how we can capture ideas, how we can build business cases, manage our project, manage portfolios, resources, and even reporting on how we execute our strategy, And essentially, I'm going to cover that within the next 20 minutes. So allow me to switch screen and go straight for live demo. So we have now arrived inside a Power Apps environment where you can see that I have my apps down here. We are going to look into Power PPM in just a second. To give you an idea about how we structured this solution, if we click on Solutions, you will see that we have two key solutions. One would be the Power PPM components, which essentially would be your PCF components that we have coded to make sure that all these capabilities I highlighted can be solved and executed through features that we have added into the Power application. Up here we have Power PPM Core, which is our off-the-shelf, ready, out-of-the-box solution that you can use as is, which is more or less what I'm going to show you, or of course build extensions on top of, adding more entities, more forms, more fields, and so forth. So if we were to start this up, let's click on Apps and go to Power PPM. And as you can see, we are arriving right inside a Power BI report as the first point of entry for my user role. This means that when I log on, I will always see fresh data, in this case using Power BI connected to CDS. I can see the amount of projects we are running, the ROI, so return on investment, forecast variance, how many projects are in red. I can see how much money we are spending compared to how much we are allowed to spend on the portfolio level, or perhaps on the strategic level. I can see all my projects sorted by benefits and strategic score. And I can see how we are spending money compared to how much we should spend on certain initiatives or strategy elements. So in this case, I can see that I'm not spending money up here on next generation products, and I'm spending 15% of my money on something that is not related to our themes or our strategies. As one example, if you click, for instance, on this one, you can also see immediately which projects are part of this portfolio or this strategy, and again see the different numbers over here, trimmed and filtered only to serve the better workplace perspective. Besides that, I can look at a dashboard which shows me, again, all my projects, my portfolios, a direct link to them, progress, effort, count of tasks, and so forth, again, regardless of the tool that these are being executed in. Cost, count of projects by stage, and lots of other things that have high relevance for those of you managing the execution of the whole strategy or parts of your strategy. Same thing goes for financials, where we have time-phased CapEx, OpEx, and investments analysis in general, even benefit realization plans. Timelines, ideas, and how these rank according to your different strategic areas, and also compared to those counter projects you are already doing, and so forth and so forth. There are so many elements. So this is just to give you an idea that we're using Power BI connected to CDS, which can soon also be offered as a real-time experience. When we are not using Power BI, we rely on the Power Apps dashboards like these. Again, filtered for the occasion so that the user only sees what he or she is allowed to see. This is always real-time and with the ability to fold them out and drill further into the data to better understand which 56 projects are we talking about in the initiate stage of our portfolio. And then we can find a certain custom field down here, for instance, created by, and show that as a new bar chart. And we can see that I'm the guy who is running 44 projects, Christian is running 1, Jacob is running 4, and so forth. And we can even drill further into the details of the budgets and whatever else we want to look at. So for these reasons, or for real-time experience like this, we use the built-in Power Apps, dashboards, and chart elements. So back to the actual app and how it works. So on the left side, we have work, which is portfolios. So the overview of all our portfolios and combined how many money we are burning for each of these different portfolios. We have programs, projects, epics. Strategy is coming now, where we have business themes. That is the direction we are taking with our business. For each theme, there are certain sets of drivers. So business drivers, these are here and obviously closely connected to this one. We have benefit realization plans, where we can see that we are planning to harvest benefits, financially speaking, and how many we have realized already, actually speaking. Then we have Team Planner, which is our super tool for doing resource request and allocation management. It's built in a way so that it fits perfectly inside any Power App. As a resource manager on the right side here, I can select my resources and see if they're booked or not. I can allocate them by simply dragging and dropping. I can also look at free capacity, and I can on the left side also see all the projects that are going on that has relevance to me and do my request analysis and allocation analysis on these different projects. Then we have collaboration, where for each project we generate a group and therefore a Microsoft team. So each project has a team that you can click on and go straight through to, and there you can manage your collaboration, so documents, issues, wikis, OneNotes, and so forth. I also have risks, change requests, tasks in general across all that we're doing. My tasks would be a way to show only my tasks that I need to look at, and also have some charting showing if I'm delayed, overdue, and what has been completed. So I can quickly look at tasks that I'm owning that are overdue would be these. Then we have timesheeting as well, where we have embedded a timesheeting solution like this inside, again, the Power App, but could also be used and shown outside of this Power App. So for instance, within a Microsoft Teams channel or as a custom Teams add-in. And finally, we have our intake process, where the business can set up a business challenge, and for each challenge connect ideas that are being submitted through by the employees in the company and ranked accordingly as well. So let's try and do that by quickly creating a new idea that we call Virtual Hub. And we give this a connection to a channel that perhaps could be big data. I'm the owner, and this is my idea. Sorry for this, like this. The time before we hit the ROI, or the return on investment, or at least break even, is 18 months. So these, of course, are custom fields you can feel free to change. Proposed budget would be 50,000, benefits would be 450,000. And saving this would give you an ROI of 8 right now. We can then score the idea in various ways. This has been done so that it's suited for mobile experience, where you can use your finger to drag and drop. Others can rate it as well. And at some point, it might go in and be funded by someone, because we are allowing this to now become more than just an idea. Let's say that Thomas is the guy. And we want to create this as a project as well. So when I hit save now, a real-time process will kick in and automatically create a project called Virtual Hub and carry over some of the key data from this idea. So if I click on Virtual Hub, I will go straight through to the projects overview right here. So here you can see I'm now arriving inside a project, and I might be the project manager now. And we already have the description from the idea carried over, including the link back to the idea. And here I can start to do what I need to do to go through the different stages of our business case and project management experience. So right now we are in the initiate stage where I have to do certain things. First and foremost, find a sponsor. Because if I don't have a sponsor, I cannot progress in the stage. We can do that by utilizing the lookups right here, which are cool because it's, again, straight connected through to the business process. So from the process, actually, you can go in and do what you need to do. Let's say we find the CFO of Projektum, that will be this guy. And now we can go next because we've done what we need to do. The next thing we are asked for is scope, budget, resources, and timeline, and so forth, and even uploading a business case template, which could be a Word document. Before we've done that, we cannot move ahead. So this is how we can manage our governance inside the company by connecting the business process across entities to certain sets of data so that we can automatically check if we are compliant or not before we progress to the next stage. So besides this, we can link this back through to a portfolio. We can link it to a program. We can link it to other business drivers and so forth. With the time we have available today, I'm going to quickly pause this one right now and open up a project that has already been created to give you an idea about how we build all these different tools and how these PCF components are actually put in play. So going back here, I'm going to open up this project, which has, as you can see, lots of data. Again, we're using charts from Power Apps to show real-time what's going on inside the project plan with our financials and also rolled up to summary level here. We can see we have a benefit plan. We can see we've done all the checks we should do. We even have a Teams channel available for us. And we have a business case that we can upload as well. So if I am to go through quickly what we have been building, first off, we have done a customized Gantt chart. We call it a timeline because this is more than just a Gantt chart. And of course, we also connect this to the project experience, the Microsoft project, either client, project online, or the new project for web. The reason why we did this is because we offer also to have custom columns that are storing all the data in CDS. So this experience, this UI of a Gantt chart or a timeline is completely customizable by anyone. And where we can also go in and ensure that all the different sets of information around a task can be tracked, like task category, deliverable in this case, work, related epics, or anything else we want to sort of tag along with the task. If we want to find an epic, we could write epic and look through all the epics, connect that one. And now there are a connection between a business epic, like a small business case, and the task. So all the dots can be connected. This timeline also works on program level and portfolio level and always in real time because we are storing all this data in CDS from across any kind of initiative that you are working with, either it be a portfolio or project or whatever, so that all tasks are just centrally stored in CDS. This allows us to connect also tasks across projects and therefore do your cross-project deliverables planning as well. Besides this, of course, Gantt chart, we also have the ability to track KPIs, where we have these different ways of showing KPIs compared to normally. We have decided to show text that can be trimmed by the organizations, but we are storing the data in numbers. So this would be 0, 1, 2, 3. So we can do math on the overall portfolio in terms of health based on different KPIs. But from an end user's perspective, we simply have to click here because the text will tell us that on budget is this. If we are overspending more than 10% of our money, it equals red, and so forth. We also have financials, where we have a customized PCF component that captures data from our financials. Either we type it in. As an example, we could open up 2021, quickly add some numbers here on the budget, like this, and maybe do something here as well. And actual cost can come automatically from any source of data, or we can type it in if you don't have any source to sort of import from. Let's just write it here. The point is that quickly we can collapse all of these and get the overview. And we have our budgets up here, cost dimensions like this one, budget, actual cost, and forecast. And we also have, underneath that, our cost categories. And these can be changed as well. On the project details, we can in real time see what we just did because this is always real time. And again, we can expand this and drill down into other aspects of our financials if needed from this view. So besides financials, we have risks, where we have generated a PCF component that shows you a risk matrix with importance and impact, where we can quickly create new risks down here or even update them as bulk edit mode. My risk, 500. We can relate it to tasks coming from our Gantt chart, which again, if that was connected to the project client, would show those tasks. If we take, for instance, the gate 3, we can add probability of 60, impact of 5, and hit save. And now it's storing the data right here, but it's also showing it up here. So if I click on this one, we can immediately see this is the risk number 500, or this one, or this one. So if you have several risks, you can quickly click around and see which ones you should look into and do something about. Same thing goes for changes and issues, where we can create change requests as a structured process with categorization, priorities, and approvers. So approvers will be notified via email and Power Automate, and then they can approve or reject the different change requests coming through to them. For issues, it's the same thing. This typically happens once a risk goes live. It becomes an issue, and then we want to track that as well. So again, we're using charts to make sure we have real-time data shown immediately. For stakeholders, we also have a PCF components where we can again customize this so that when we create specific people, also we can do that from here. We can add their interest and their influence. Let's create one where it's high in both and write Mr. Y, hit save, and you will see that up here in the partner section, it now says 2. And if I click there, we can see which 2 people are extremely important for us to manage as stakeholders. So for snapshots, here we also use CDS and Power Automate, and as you can see right here, we have a snapshot for each date. And if I want to create a new snapshot of data, I simply click here. I can select the date, or we can have that automatically set. Let's go all the way through to June 2021, just to simulate it. I can give it a name, Virtual Hub Snapshot, with some comments, and hit save. Again, this gives me a new snapshot down here, as you can see there, where we captured the actual cost, the changes we just did on actual cost, the KPI, but also up here, if you refresh this one quickly, you'll see that we now have a new section that a new snapshot has been created for June 2021. So again, snapshot, historic data, how to view that and how to capture it, again, using Power Apps out of the box to sort of do this. For status reports, this is also quite interesting. Here we offer that we can push data either through to Word, which is the normal experience in Power Apps, but we can also do this through to PowerPoint. The way to do this is simply clicking Generate Report like this, and we click Save, and then we wait a little longer, and then within the next 20 seconds, we're going to see that a new name will pop up down here, that a status has been created for us on the 14th. So let's try and see if this one has been done now. Let me just click refresh right now. And as you can see at 12:28 down here, we received a new status report that has been created for us. If I click on this one, it opens up the form for this status. And there you will find that we have a report. And if I click on this one, you will see that the data we just entered has been pushed into PowerPoint and merged with a template in real time so that we can quickly get the one-pager showing latest change request, how we are performing on the KPIs, issues, the financials we just did, and these are the numbers we just typed in, the risks, the tasks, and the same thing we could do with the Gantt chart or any other data we have in CDS. Push this through to PowerPoint, and without code, make sure it merges with your templates. So back again to this screen. Let me just save and close. Of course, document management is part of it as well. We do that typically through teams and groups, and therefore SharePoint. We can also manage it as an entity right here, where we have contracts that are a little bit more governed than typical documents stored in Teams. So here we can track if they have been approved or not, what type of contract it is, and so forth. And this is just, I think, the quick introduction to how we manage projects, so the work. So how this relates back to the strategy, of course, is that for each project, again, we can first off relate it to a portfolio, a business driver, a program, an idea, and so forth. Portfolio management-wise, if I click on the portfolio run, or if we go through here and click on run, we get the overview and the top-down management of the portfolio, where the strategy owner or the portfolio owner can set up which theme does this portfolio connect to, currencies that we're operating with, the budget limit for this, the type of portfolio, the status, the description, and so forth, even a KPI. We can then see how much financials we are pulling in from programs and projects all the way through to the portfolio to compare top down and bottom up if things are aligned or if we are overspending or underspending, like I showed in the beginning. We also have a timeline where we see the sum of all projects. Let me just go back to the starting point like this, where we see all our projects, for instance, like this, shown as one line. So the project we just did together is this one, Adventure Work Cycles Building, APAC Network Expansion, and so forth. If we collapse these or expand these, we can see what goes on underneath by phase or by task, or even all the way through to the lowest level, and then filter by deliverables, gates, stages, legal matters, or whatever else you have going on inside your portfolio. So it's the filtering of all tasks according to a certain tagging in one view and always real time. The dashboard will show the portfolio manager, of course, filtered by data from these related projects, what goes on inside this portfolio from an issues perspective, risks again, active projects and which driver they're supporting, active projects by tool, if some are using Project for Web or Power PPM or DevOps Jira. And the same thing goes for the amount of projects in each stage. If you want a more traditional experience, we use this one, related projects, to show you, again, the same view as before with the projects over here, but filtered again to only show you those projects from this portfolio. And this I can then export straight through to, for instance, Excel and do more analysis on it. I can do bulk updating of my data, import and export them as well. And of course, see the KPIs and the budgets and all that stuff. Related programs is the same thing. Related epics is if you're managing, for instance, an Azure DevOps or a Scrum team where you run with epics on the portfolio level. To do that, we can include epics inside the portfolio or inside an initiative. So for those of you who are familiar with that, epics would be typically managed on a Kanban board like this one, where we can again either see it like this and move these around by clicking here, or clicking there and opening them up and checking up on the business case of your epics, like this. Also seeing the features that are part of this epic. And if you want to see it as an intake process, if we then change this view to active epics, you will see it more traditionally speaking, where we can sort it by highest priority. These could be epics coming from Azure DevOps or Jira, and show a chart that shows you from a stage gate perspective how things are progressing through your backlog or through your Kanban board on the portfolio epics. And again, if you click there and you look at, okay, which epics do we have in the analyze stage, and that are of the type business epic, you click and you get the answer immediately with real-time data. And if you are allowed to, you can do grouping, but also bulk editing and simply clicking there and do the changes without having to go in and out of each. So this is really strong if you're doing a prioritization meeting where you want to change data in real time. So this was quickly around that one. Going back to our strategy part. So themes-wise, we have our different themes and different charts for these themes. If we click on the run theme, we can see that for this direction the business is going, which comes to be called run, we have 3 business drivers, 1, 2, and 3. And these have different ideas coming in. Some have count of projects 21, which means that a lot of projects are connected to driver 2, and not that many are connected to driver 3. And this is why I could, in the beginning, in my analysis with Power BI, show you how we could track if we are over or underspending in many different ways in budgets, resources, work effort, and so forth. Business driver-wise, they look like this. I can open up one business driver, for instance, this one, and I can check up on both the goal settings for this driver, but also the related projects and all the related ideas coming in. So no matter which role you have in your company, from a strategy perspective, you can always open up that entity because it's all connected and see what's happening that I need to take care of. And the same thing goes obviously for those who are tracking, for instance, benefit realization, which is a crucial part of your strategy execution, where you can see that this project has estimated this amount of benefits, and this is what has been realized so far. Again, we have a time phase view down here where we can import actual hours or numbers, for instance, sales numbers from your ERP system, so that automatically you can see over time if you have delivered on the promise that typically is in your business case. And finally, again, if we just go to this left side, just to show the team member experience before I round it off, if I go back to a project, we open up this one again, as we showed before, take the timeline, and let's imagine that either I create a new task here or I do it through Microsoft Project or other tools. Let me just do one manually quickly down here. We create the virtual hub task. Let's say it's 30 days long. Category is a task. It's just a normal task. We want to assign it to me, and estimated work is 150 hours, and hit save to that one. This will of course give us a new task down here that we can move around like this, or extend if you want to like that, and even connect through to this one as well if you wanted to do this. The point is that this task is assigned to me. So if I go to tasks, we will find that the virtual, if we just quickly search for it, virtual, there is a virtual hub task right now to me. So if I open up that one, this view again can be customized. What I can do quickly is to say I'm done by just dragging this one, or saying I'm 80% done, or whatever you want to do. I can also capture time coming from a timesheet or manually entered in, depending on what you want to do. Let's do it manually right now and say I've spent 100 hours. So when I save this one, there's 50 hours remaining, and the task has changed to started automatically. It knows that. So if I go back to the AdventureWorks cycle building maintenance project, open up the timeline, I can of course see what Peter just did, that 150 hours have been estimated, 100 has been spent, and that we are 80% done as well. Always in real time and always aggregated up through to the highest level. So let's round it off by going to the portfolio, open up the run portfolio, the timeline, and quickly opening it up, and find that the virtual hub task is here with 80% done and the constraints and so forth, and that Peter's been assigned. So again, this is real time. So from the point in time where a team member submits progress to the point in time where the portfolio manager is aware, probably a split second. So this is the true power of the Power Apps experience and Power Platform, that it's all connected in one database. All entities are related to each other. And this is why we decided to build the solution I'm showing you now. That we already have more than 80 customers trying out, and more than 20 have deployed it already, which is super fast considering when it was released. So if you want to learn more about this and how we did it, or just to sort of touch base on do's and don'ts from a partner perspective, or maybe even you have a customer who would like to try it out, or yourselves, don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me, just a second, by connecting through me on LinkedIn, of course. I have a blog as well, ppmblog.org, and I also have a landing page, which is the more commercial aspect, where you can go in and learn more about Power PPM, how we did it, and also get hands on a free trial for you that you can try out if you want to. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.